What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. This is Kate TV. I'm your host, Kate. Today, we're going to be watching and reacting to this video I found, We Work Just to Survive for What? But before I go ahead and get into that, if you enjoy what I have to say and you're liking these reactionary style type videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like, share, leave a comment down below, say hello. I would love to get to know you. We are building a little community over here, and I'd love to have you be a part of it. So before I go ahead and chat your ear off, I'll just let this young lady go ahead and talk to us.
I was just thinking that it's kind of crazy that we do all of this just to survive. And they consider you lucky if you have a 9 to 5 and you're able to make money doing it the old fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's actually crazy that we have to ask for permission to take time off of work. And we just got done with Labor Day, and I was literally thinking that most people don't have the freedom to even take a day off. And I always wonder, like, what would happen if we all rebelled at once and we all woke up at once and we just decided to rewrite the system completely at one time? Because it's literally crazy that as an adult, you have to ask permission to take time off for a doctor's appointment, to take time off if you have a sick kid. We're basically enslaved to the system. It's just a new form of slavery. The cost of living keeps us trapped in this crazy cycle of having to commute to work and go home, and we sacrifice most of our waking hours just to work, and then we're too tired to do anything when we get home with our free time, which is absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we just all sit here and accept that this is the way things are? I followed the life script of going to college, trying to get a job, getting good grades, and I literally have nothing to show for it because I didn't fit in to society. And I don't think anybody is literally meant to do this because you basically have to contort yourself to fit into a system that most people, it's like one size fits all. If you don't fit in, then you're doomed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we're meant to live with this level of monotony every single day. Um, the day in and day out daily grind is absolutely soul crushing. And I feel like they do it on purpose to make it impossible for us to rebel.
Yeah.
And so much is taken by taxes to fund God knows what in terms of the government. Like the government decides everything that our taxes go to and everything. And we're just basically dependent on the system. So because I can't work, I won't work. And in a way, not having the capacity to work and in a way being disabled has given me a blessing where I can basically do whatever I want with my free time. But I do need money, and that sucks. So I really think the 9 to 5 is a trap. I don't think that you should quit your day job, of course, but just because it's normal doesn't mean it's healthy and doesn't mean it's okay. It shouldn't be the norm.
And it also shouldn't be forced upon the entire population. And I know, I'm going to get comments. It's not. I mean, it's not. But if you really think about it, all of schooling in the United States is designed to be like a blueprint to carry over directly into a corporate setting. I mean, let's be honest here. That's what it is. It's designed for you to be used to the schedule and used to the comfort of it all. And so you're supposed to just graduate and go right on to your nice little corporate job and sit there until you're, 65, 70 years old and then retire and die. That's how it's supposed to go. And that's honestly, it's kind of a one size fits all approach when everybody is different. Like literally everybody is different and everybody has a different purpose in life and a different passion in life. And we should have a system that's designed to nurture those types of passions for everybody. But, instead it's designed just like this. It's crazy.
Our life force is wasted on survival, and it's just not worth it to make ends meet. We shouldn't normalize having no life outside of work, and it shouldn't be the way things are. We just take for granted that we waste our lives like this. So, anyway, guys, my name is Shelby. As you can see, I'm a visual artist by my hobby, I guess. It's kind of a hobby that sometimes pays for it. These paintings behind me are for sale if you're interested.
Yeah, buy her art. I'm going to leave her stuff down below as I do for everybody on this channel. I always link the original video and the creator in the comments so you can go support them as well.
And you can support this channel, of course, by subscribing, becoming a channel member, leaving a super thanks, or buy me a coffee, which is beneath the video for donations. And of course, my Shopify where you can buy my art. So basically, I'm unemployed, mostly because I'm unemployable. I have multiple disabilities and I'm just not really meant for the workforce, I guess. And to be honest with you guys, I do want autonomy. I do want financial autonomy. And I know that I'll be called entitled for complaining about how overwhelming the 9 to 5 is and how much we have to do just to stay off the streets. But I think it's kind of crazy that we have to do all this just to barely make ends meet. They say 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So 60% of people are basically slaves.
That's too many. That's too many people. Okay. It just is.
And I think it's inhumane. And I think that we have one life and it's wasted on this capitalistic society that I wish I didn't exist in the first place. Like most of us didn't ask to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a complete psyop. I mean, you have to act like you want to be at work on top of everything else. You have to put on a professional, enthusiastic face. And there's so much performative stuff that goes on in terms of maintaining employment that it's actually crazy.
Yeah, it feels like you have to literally be like a whole other person other than yourself in order to go to work. Like you have to have a work persona to go to work, especially in like a corporate setting. But, just in general, you're expected to have this kind of corporate speak. You're expected to be, a certain way and be happy and, don't be easygoing. Don't be difficult. You have to play the part and play the role they want you to play or they don't want to employ you.
And it's gotten to the point where I just don't care and I just can't take it seriously. I just don't want to work. And because I don't have to, I'm not going to. And even if I wanted to, I have a chronic illness, as many of you know, and that kind of keeps me unemployed. And I honestly believe that hard work is a scam. And I mean, at this point, YouTube is my only income. So that's not exactly ideal. Obviously, you're taking advice. Don't take advice from me. Don't quit your day job or anything like that. Um, to be honest, I didn't trust myself because I knew in the beginning that the conventional path was never for me. And I've wasted so much time trying to fit in instead of doing what I know I'm meant to do. And I guess what I'm meant to do is art. Even though it's not really that lucrative right now, I think that I still have a blessing to be able to do this at all.
Mm-hmm.
And burning yourself out just to compete for survival is not something I can even force myself to do at this point. Weekends are for errands, and then you have to prepare for the rest of the week. So even your days off are not free days.
Mm-hmm.
So of course the younger generation doesn't want to work like this. They want to live. And working hard is only rewarded with being given more work. So like if you break your ass at a 9 to 5, the only thing that's going to happen is that they're going to be like, oh, this person is exploitable. We can exploit this person and give them more work. I mean, there's no way to really get ahead when you're born into a certain caste system. We say that there's no caste systems in America, but that's just not true. You're born into a certain class, and that's where you remain for the rest of your life.
She's right about that. It's true. If you really think about it, there's of course, the rare occasion where people are able to work, somehow get their way out of it. But for the most part, you're born into your little class and you stay there your whole life. You're born into your town. A lot of people just end up staying there their whole life. Me, I've been in my town my whole life. I've never left this town. I probably never will leave this town. I like this town, it's fine, but it's just, I don't know, it's just the way it is. It's weird. It really does feel like a big caste system. To me, it feels like there's 1%, the elite people, and then there's everybody else that are all peasants. And some of us are a little less, peasanty than the other. Some of us have a little more than the other. But for the most part, everyone is really just paying into this system and we're all kind of enslaved to it.
And to be honest, what is the point of living 40 more years just to scrape by to survive? Like 40 more years of this seems kind of pointless. It just seems like each day bleeds into the next and it's not really worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is that people still have kids bringing more slaves into the system. I just can't condone anyone that brings more people into this world because it's like I've always questioned like my existence. It's like why was I born in the first place just to exist and do nothing with my life. So we are told the harder we work, the farther ahead we will get, and this has always been a lie. And it just gets you used and abused, like I said before. We shouldn't have to spend all of our time not doing what we don't want to do, like, or not doing, or doing what we don't want to do. And we've been sold a lie to sell our time for $1, even though time is our most precious resource as human beings.
Yeah, time is literally currency. Like, time is the real currency. We don't have unlimited time on this earth. We are literally only here for, a certain amount of time. It's different for each person. And to sell that time in exchange for a little bit of security, it's just no way to live for anybody, and it's making everybody depressed.
Um, we've been born as slaves, and survival shouldn't be dependent on a performance review, but most of the time, our self worth and our survival is in the hands of somebody else. And I don't believe that there's a way out. Like, the get rich quick scammers make their money through selling dreams, and it really does seem like we're trapped. And we're supposed to be grateful for the crumbs that our slave masters leave us, and we're supposed to just put our hands out for a couple of dollars that we slave our lives away for. And it's no wonder that people join pyramid schemes and waste money on online scams, scam courses, and stuff like that, because, like, people want to think that there's hope, but at the
Yeah. That's exactly. People want to think that there's hope and that there's a way out. And I get it. I've fallen for pyramid schemes before because they really sell you on the, like, you can get out of your situation. And so many people are in a situation that they just don't want to be in. Like, so many of us with debt and having to pay off, medical bills or something stupid like that. That genuinely, like, why is it so expensive? I just don't understand.
end of the day, there's really no hope at all. It seems that because we're all trapped in this system together. And working yourself to death is seen as a high honor in certain countries, and it's such a psyop, it's such a lie.
It's sick.
You're never gonna find me working myself to death. I guess my life is kind of a reflection of my work ethic, maybe, but I really don't think that having a strong work ethic is a way out of the system. I think it's actually sort of a way to stay trapped as a slave in the system. And we don't hate work enough. I know we complain about it, but nothing changes, and we're kept too exhausted to rebel. And we deserve better things, guys. We actually deserve a better life, I
Mhm.
think.
I think
And I
so
wish we
too.
could do something about it, but I don't know how anyone can work without wanting to unalive themselves, honestly.
I know.
Because honestly, work is so depressing. The thought of just wasting my time doing stuff I don't want to do is, like, almost unattainable for me. I just can't put my wrap my head around it at this.
I honestly, I feel the same way. Like, the thought of working a 9 to 5, like what I do right now, okay, it's bearable. It's not the worst thing ever. Do I enjoy it? Kind of. I don't hate it. It's tolerable. But if someone said to me, hey, Caitlin, for the next 40, 50 years of your life, you need to go sit in a cubicle every single day for 8 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Um, and then you can retire, whatever. I just honestly, I think I probably would contemplate my existence here on this earth because that literally sounds like a life sentence. Like, you're putting someone in prison to pay off their student loan debt. Like, I don't get it. I don't know.
Point. The reality of working for 40 years to life is an impossible gauntlet, and I just don't know if I have it in me. I actually don't think I'm able to work at all. And I know that I'm not cut out for corporate. I'm just not cut out for survival in this capitalistic society. I think without my family, I'd be homeless. And I'm very fortunate that I live in a family that's not going to kick me out. At least they've threatened to kick me out, as you guys know before, but I think they've kind of pulled back on that recently, and they're not going to kick me out now. It does go back and forth with them, kind of like whether or not we're getting along and stuff like that. But I also hate being broke, and I literally don't know what to do in terms of money. Um, and what are we even surviving for? That's the question. Like, what is the point of just doing all this just to get a little bit of, like, numbing agent, like, beer or wine and smoke? Like, it seems completely like a waste of time. And when you set boundaries at work, that's not allowed. Advocacy for yourself is not allowed. You are expected to bleed your energy dry just to buy food and water and gas in your car just to go back to work the next day. And boomers love to call us lazy for seeing through this lie. Like, I know a lot of Gen Z doesn't want to work. And I guess I'm kind of a millennial. I was born in 93, so I'm definitely a millennial. but I definitely support Gen Z and all of their ideals about laying flat and not participating in the workforce and not wanting to be abused for a dollar. I don't want to drain my soul, and no God wants us to spend our life doing things that don't matter. And that kind of makes me feel like there's no God at all. And to be honest, unless you're rich, life is slavery. It really is.
Yeah.
Job security is also a myth, and all of this is just for a total lack of fulfillment, just to get laid off if you don't fit in, make someone jealous, or do your job and just go home. Because if you just do your job and go home, they say you don't fit into company culture because you're not participating in the reindeer games of office politics.
Yeah.
And corporate politics are enough to drive you insane. Like if you don't get along with other people or they deem you difficult to work with, or you can be fired for being good at your job but not getting along with other people. And that's one of the biggest things for me that has held me back from employment, is just not getting along with other people. It's not to say that I fight them, it's just that they don't like me. And because I'm not very likable in terms of the workplace, I end up getting let go 9 times out of 10. And most of us will work until we die, and the myth of retirement is only an illusion on the horizon. It's not real.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that about retirement, to be honest. Um, I've noticed more in the past couple of years than I ever have in my whole life, a lot of elderly people working, out doing DoorDash, out doing whatever they need to do to pay the bills still. And to me, and I've heard a lot about, your money is just being devalued so much by the second, you know what I mean? It's to me, it makes sense that there's no security anymore. That there's no security with the future. There's no job that's going to offer you like this wonderful life, It feels like it's all just dolled up and, made to seem like it's this wonderful thing, but it's really a lifetime of misery and just, paying off your debts. And that's what all you're good for. It's just humans have been devalued to what they're able to produce and what they're able to give to everyone else, and not for being who they are, and not for, their individuality, and not for, you know, their important characteristics that they have. Everybody's just been devalued to, can we make someone else a profit or no? And that's all that matters anymore.
And just because you don't have kids doesn't mean life is easy. I just don't know how anyone can have kids in this society and make it work.
I just don't know how people can have kids and work all the time and they're able to like be okay and not go completely insane. I don't know. I'm just a person I've discovered in the past few years that I really need to have time to myself and I need to be able to take care of myself, or I can't work all the time and I can't be good to the people around me. I can't help my community. I can't do anything if I can't be okay myself. And I just see so many parents like sacrificing everything just to raise their kids. And I just, hats off to them. Salutes. I salute you. I don't know how you're doing it. I really admire anybody that's able to have children in this type of a tumultuous world and environment, because I can't imagine the anxiety. Like it's a whole other type of anxiety, I'm sure.
The idea of producing more slaves for our slave masters
That too.
is just not right. You know, the wolves are angry that the sheep are no longer reproducing. And being kind and genuine is a way to get taken advantage of in the workplace and get stabbed in the back. You know, people take advantage of good people all the time.
They
That's
really
just the
do.
way it is.
They really, really do. I had to learn this lesson, and it was a really hard lesson to learn, because I realized once I started to set boundaries with people and stand up for myself, they didn't like that, and they would, say, "Well, you're mean. Why are you being mean? Why are you so upset? What's wrong?" And it's like, I'm upset because you're taking advantage of me, and you've been taking advantage of me, and you think I'm too dumb to notice, and now you're just mad that I see you and I'm telling you it's not going to fly anymore and it's not going to continue, And good riddance to all those people. I never want to see you again, honestly. I'm so glad that nobody like that is in my life anymore, because I finally stood up and just said, enough is enough with this. But in the workplace, you can only stand up for yourself so much. You know what I mean? There's only so much you can do to advocate for yourself. It's this weird, like, for the greater good type of environment, and it's self-sacrifice, and you have to do do things you don't want to do and be someone that you don't want to be for the sake of everyone. It's just, I don't know. Personally, I don't agree with that worldview. I just don't.
I don't want to miss out on life moments that actually matter. And by sacrificing all your life force to a 9 to 5, that's kind of what happens. And I know that I'm in a position where I don't have to work, and most people do. But for those of you that do have to work, I feel for you. I really do. And having your time controlled is slavery. The money is just not worth it. The fact that you have to schedule with your boss, like when you want to take a break to go to see the dentist and get your filling filled, is absolutely insane. And anyone who dreams of a job has been psyoped. Like, I don't think there's any such thing for me as a dream job. I don't really have a dream employment opportunity because I don't dream of labor. And
I totally agree. I'm right there with you, sister. Anytime someone ever asks me that, what's your dream job? What's your dream job? I don't know, Sally. I don't dream about working. I dream about, I dream about all kinds of interesting, intricate things that you would never understand because my mind is elsewhere besides just work. I don't know.
the worst is when you dream that you're at work even when you're on the weekend. So there's literally no escape even in your sleep. And having a job is just a form of dependency that society creates in order to keep you trapped. And then there's these arbitrary hierarchies at work based on seniority, based on status. And then you have to obey orders in order to avoid punishment.
And usually the people that are in charge of you are complete morons. And they're narcissistic and they're just on a power trip and they're above you and they just want to remind everyone that they're above everyone else. And it's like I personally, that's one thing that I have always really struggled with is people in positions of authority around me have always, to me, just they seem like total schmucks. And I don't want to listen to anything that they have to say. And it's very hard to have respect when they obviously don't respect anybody else. They're obviously just out here waving their magic wand because they're so powerful. And it's unbearable and it's insufferable to work with.
And then you have to deal with like people asking you, how was your weekend? As though you had time to do anything important at all over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't like small talk.
Me neither.
Like, there's just all these cultural things, cultural norms you have to jump through, and all these hoops you have to jump through, like you're freaking Shamu at the circus. And to me, it just seems like we've been scammed into this lifestyle where we've just normalized being enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very fortunate that I don't have to be one of these people that is enslaved into the system. At least in terms of I don't have to work because my parents are supporting me, which does mean I don't have any money basically. But I really don't need that much to survive at this point. And again, if you wanted to support my art, you can buy some stuff on my Shopify. Leave a donation in the chat in terms of the super thanks, or buy me a coffee on my donation site, which is also in the description. So that's basically what I was thinking about today, was just that we're basically told since birth that if you work really hard and you put your best foot forward, that it will be rewarded. And to be honest, I haven't seen that in my own life being reflected. I did work very hard at school. I worked very hard at school, and then I had a mental health crisis and a health crisis. And then I was basically evicted from the system because when you're not able-bodied anymore, the system basically criminalizes you.
Yeah, we're seeing this with the homeless people now. We did 2 videos already on this channel about that. It's really crazy. It's true. If you're not able to, contribute to the machine and feed the machine, you're just deemed unworthy of life, apparently. It's pretty wild stuff.
And if it wasn't for my family, I think I would be criminalized for being homeless, for not being able to survive on these streets and in this life. Because basically being disabled is against the law in this country if you don't have support. Because if you're not able to participate, people just won't allow you to exist. You're not allowed to just exist in this life. You have to contribute to some billionaire's super yacht or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of tired of it, to be honest. I don't want to participate in it. I see through it. And I'm absolutely proud of Gen Z for not participating in the workforce. I know that there's this trend in China called laying flat, or in Japan they call it let it rot. And a lot of young people are just refusing to participate in the workforce. They're just letting it rot.
I personally think it would be really cool if people genuinely start branching off and forming little communities again. And, you have someone that takes care of the cows and the chickens and the horses, and there's a doctor, and there's someone who chops firewood every day, and someone who hunts. And, everybody has their craft and their task that helps contribute, but it doesn't consume every second of your existence. And, you have community with people that are like-minded. It would just be cool if we would see like movements like that. I know there are places like that, but it's getting harder and harder to do that in the United States, and it's getting more expensive and harder to come by. And I don't know anybody who's done anything like that besides the Amish. And trust me, I've thought about joining their communities. I really have. I still would do it. But if it didn't mean that I had to cut off my friends and family, I would 100% go join an Amish community.
They're just saying, no thanks, I don't want to contribute to the system anymore. And they're just existing on the bare minimum in order to survive. And that's fine. That's kind of what I'm doing as well. I do paint and draw and stuff like that with my free time. As you can see behind me. I can't do it. This camera's weird. But I guess that's kind of it for today's video. This is more of a shorter one.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and end the video there. Again, I'm going to link her stuff down below, again, as I do for everybody. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was cathartic for you. It was cathartic for me. I love talking about this kind of stuff because everyone in my real life just says, shut up, go back to work, get back to work. What are you doing complaining about it? Go back to work. Why aren't you working? Anytime I have a day off, that's what my dad says to me. Why aren't you working? You're not working today? And it's like, I have this constant feeling when I'm not at work that I should be out working. It's this really toxic mindset so many of us are in. It's like this guilt and shame you feel for not working. You feel like such a lazy piece of crap for taking a day off. It's so messed up. Anyway, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my day. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.